Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to talk about the things I never got used to while living abroad in the United States, even though I lived there for about 5 years. So the first thing I never got used to in the United States was the national anthem. So if you don't know, in the United States, when you do the national anthem, of course you sing it, but you have to stand up and put your right hand over your heart. And I never really got used to it because I didn't know what I should do because I was never American, but I was living in the United States. So I didn't know if I should do the same thing, because they do it because they are American. So what am I supposed to do? I always stood up because I think it's really important to respect the national anthem. So even if you don't put your right hand over your heart because you don't feel like, you're from that country, so you don't feel like you should do that, you should at least stand up. I feel like it's a sign of respect. Even if you're visiting, you should stand up during the national anthem. But putting your right hand over your heart is another thing, it's more personal. It shows like, you understand and you believe in what the country is about. And when you're just visiting, maybe you don't, it's not your country. So I felt like I didn't know if I should do it. But then I was like, the United States is really important to me. It's not my country, but kind of, because I lived there for so long and it's part of me. So I always put also my right hand over my heart. But it might sound silly, but I always felt a little more like an imposter because I felt like it wasn't I don't know, it wasn't my right to put my right hand over my heart because I was not American, so I don't even understand everything in the national anthem, So another thing that I had a hard time getting used to is the fact that the English language doesn't have two words for the word you. So in France we have tu and we have vous. So tu is more like familiar, it's usually more for like friends, family, and vous is more polite, it's more respectful, and usually we'll use it for people you don't know or people with a higher stature than you do. So for example, you will say vous to your teachers, to your parents, to your friends' parents, or people you don't know in the streets, or if you go to like a building to ask questions, I don't know, wherever you go, you say vous to the person. So I think that was really weird to me, just because, for example, teachers, you have to say vous in French. Like if you say tu to a teachers, in some cases, like they wouldn't really not like it, you could get grounded, especially in high school. When you go to college, it might be different, it depends the relationship you have with your teachers. But in high school, for example, you will say vous to your teachers all the time. You can't just say tu to a teacher, So that was really weird to me because in the United States, you only say you. So I remember being in college and I wanted to talk to my teachers and I just felt really weird saying you to my teachers, but like it's the only word you can use. But like I felt weird. I felt like I needed to say something else because I felt like I was being rude. I don't know. I just remember asking people like, is there another way for me to say that? So yeah, I don't know, it's just a little thing that is weird when you go from one language to another, is when you're used to, making a difference between two words, and here it's just like the same word, you don't have a difference between that. So another thing I will never completely get used to in the United States is alcohol. So the laws around alcohol are really different between France and the United States. So it's weird to get used to it when you're not, when you grow up in a country and then you go to another country and then the laws are different, you have a hard time getting used to them. So the first thing is that in France, the legal age to drink is 18, but in the United States it's 21. So that was weird to me because I was legal in France, but I wasn't legal in the United States, and I had to wait many more years, until I was 21 to get legal again. And that was really strange, and I wasn't getting used to it because I was like, I'm legal in France, but in the United States I'm not, and it's just weird, and I was kind of annoyed by it. But it's normal, you have to respect every country is different, but just weird. And then also, in France you can drink outside, so if you go to the Eiffel Tower, you'll see people drink every night on the grass. But in the United States, public drinking is a lot more illegal, I guess, in many states than in France. Like, there are a lot more laws around it. I think in France it's just you can drink outside, but you should not get intoxicated or really drunk, then you could get in trouble. But if you just drink outside, that's fine. So yeah, that's something that is weird. And the last thing, which is the main thing that I never really got used to it because it's the one that I had to face more times, is the fact that you have to show your ID so much more in the United States than in France. So for example, bars, like I went to the bar so many times during college and I had to show my ID every single time. And that was so annoying to me because in France, like, I never have to show my IDs in bars, like never. So that was so weird because now I never had to do it, and now I had to do it every time. And at first I was like, okay, they'll ask me for my ID a few times, but then, you know, they saw me like 10 times and know who I am, they know I'm 21. So they're not going to ask me. No, for 3 years, every single time they asked me for my ID. So yeah, I never really got used to that, especially because I didn't have like an actual like ID in the US. I had my passport. So I was so scared to lose it, you know, because if you lose your passport, like, you're in big trouble. So bringing your passport to a bar, like, you don't feel it's very safe, you're scared to lose it. And yeah, so I never really got used to bringing my passport to the bar. Okay, so now let's talk about two things that are a little more basic, but the first thing is air conditioning. So I never got used to air conditioning. I completely understand why air conditioning is really cool. I mean, especially when I went to Arizona and Utah, it was so hot outside, and having air conditioning in your car, in stores, or anywhere, it was so nice. Otherwise, you probably will die of heat because it's just so hot outside and you can't really handle it. But in the United States, you have air conditioning pretty much everywhere, and in Pennsylvania, it wasn't even hot outside, and you have air conditioning in stores, or even when it was cold, you still have air conditioning in stores. And that was just so weird to me, and I never got used to it, because every single time, you know, you go outside, it's warm, so you put on a dress, a t-shirt, and then you go to Walmart, and you literally freeze. Like, you have to bring a jacket, sometimes a scarf, or you literally freeze. I remember so many times I forgot that, you know, we will go to a store, so I will go out in a dress, we'll go to Walmart, and I could not spend too much time in the store because I was so cold. So I don't understand why they blast it so much, you know, like they can put a little bit of air conditioning, but they blast it like it's literally so cold in a store. So the last thing are fitting rooms. So it's a weird subject, but I never really got used to it. Because in France, fitting room, they are pretty much like, they're open, you can just walk in and do your thing. They will usually sometimes have like a person in front of it that will just ask you how many clothes you have before you go in, but they are open. And sometimes you won't even have that person, it just depends. But in the United States, fitting rooms are usually closed, they are locked, and you have to ask an employee to open them for you so you can change. And that was really weird to me because I never was used to it, you know. So every single time I will forget, and I will walk to the fitting room and like try to open it and be like, oh, that's true, they're locked, I have to ask an employee. So I mean, it's not a big deal, but it's just something I really never got used to. And I just remember one day I was in my changing and I wanted to get out of my, you know, fitting room to show my friend what I was, you know, trying on. And I do that all the time in France. So I just got out of there, and right behind me, the door locked. And when I heard, like, you know, you hear the lock close, you're like, oh shit, I forgot. So I was like there trying something on, you know, you don't feel completely comfortable, you don't know if you like it, and you have to cross the store to go ask an employee to reopen the fitting room because you got outside and it locked behind you. So yeah, I mean, it's not a big deal, but I just think it's something funny. It's like a little cultural difference that we have and that I really never got used to. It's now the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments kind of what other kind of videos you would like to see, usually about the United States, living abroad, being an exchange student, and that kind of stuff. And yeah, and I will see you next time. À la prochaine!